Hello, welcome back to my channel, Current Chapter. My name is Dani, and today it's time for the M&Ms to pick my TBR for April for the Magical Readathon. So let's talk about books. This TBR is going to be special for a few different reasons. First of all, I'm going to pick books specifically to read for the Magical Readathon, which is a readathon created by G from Book Rose. I'm going to leave her channel and her announcement video on the description, so you should check that out. If you're interested in joining, there's still time. In the month of April, we take our OWLs or OWLs, as in Harry Potter, so each subject that you would learn in Hogwarts has a different prompt associated to it, but you can pick a career and read the prompts associated to that career. She explains it much better than I did. And the second reason why this M&M's TBR is special is because we're not actually using M&M's this time. We're using this chocolate that I brought from Brazil, as you may know from the video that I posted last. I'm going to leave that in the description. I went to Brazil recently, and this is one of the things that I brought specifically to film a TBR for you guys. So this is called Disquetti, trying to make it sound English there, but it's basically just a different type of chocolate confetti thing. And I'm probably going to be calling it M&M's throughout this video because I'm just used to it and it's easier. But this is what we're going to be using today. I'm not completely sure that it has the same colors as the normal M&M's, so we should open this to check that. Nope, different colors. We have like 7 colors. Okay, this is unexpected. This chocolate actually have 7 different colors instead of just 6 that we're used to on the M&M's. So we have all these. So what we're going to do is we're going to use red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and instead of the brown that we would usually use on the M&M's, we're going to use purple. And if pink comes up, I'm just going to eat it because we can't do the way that I organized this with 7 colors. We need just 6. Before we begin picking books for the prompts, as you know, I participate in 2 different book clubs, so I'm gonna just mention which books I'm reading for those. The first one is the Reese Witherspoon Book Club called Hello Sunshine. I buddy read all the books with Natalie from One Sleepy Reader. I totally recommend that you check her channel. She was my inspiration to start reading the Reese's books. And I've been having a lot of fun reading with her, although I'm not enjoying all the books. They only announce the books on the 1st of the month, so I'm going to post this video on April 1st or 2nd, and as soon as they announce it. Hello, future me here to actually change this TBR a little bit. So I actually decided today was announced the Reese Witherspoon book pick for April, and I have 0 interest in reading that book. It sounds like an interesting story. It's something that I'm interested in the themes, and I appreciate the messages that she's trying to tell. It's just not a type of book that I like to read. I don't like memoirs, especially for people that I didn't know before. I don't know. It's just not something I'm interested in reading. I didn't like the book from last month, so I decided that it's better for me if I stop forcing myself to read the Reese Witherspoon Book Club books, because I'm not enjoying them as much as I thought I would. Unfortunately, I'm very, very upset that this happened, but it is what it is. That being said, I'm going to keep following the picks for every month, and I'm definitely going to keep following Natalie's reviews of the books every month because I really want to know how she's feeling about them. And if she says that there is a book this month, this book was amazing, I'm going to go read them because I really trust her reviews. So if you're interested, do follow her, do watch her videos, because I'm sure she's gonna keep doing it. Oh, I was sure I was gonna keep doing it. So who knows? But I just don't want to force myself to read something that I'm just not in the mood, I'm just not interested in reading. So I'm gonna change it a little bit. My new plan, because I still want to keep a surprise mystery book every month for me to read, and I have the perfect book for that, and that's OWLcrate. It's up there. I subscribe to OWLcrate, so I get a new book every month. I usually know which book's gonna come because I Google the hints that they give, and it's usually very obvious, but I'm gonna stop doing that. So it's actually gonna be a surprise for me unless I have heard about the book before the hints do tell me which book it is, but otherwise it's gonna be a surprise. And I'm gonna start now in April, so instead of reading the Reese book, I'm gonna add the book that I received in March, an OWL crate, and that is The Kingdom of Back by Mary Lou. I'm so excited. This is the prettiest book I've ever received in OWL crate, I think. And I'm just very curious to read it. So I think this is gonna be a great change. So every month I'm gonna read the OWL crate book that I received on the previous month. So this time I'm reading the book I got in March, and next month I'm gonna read the book that's coming in April, which for now I already know which one it's gonna be, but that's gonna be in my TBR for May. But yeah, I'm excited to make this change, and I think it's going to improve my reading a lot, because in March I had a lot of 5-star books and one 1-star book, which was the Reese pick. So I'm not gonna force myself to do this anymore. So yeah, this is what I'm adding for my TBR for this month. And the second book club that I participate is one with my coworkers, and for April we're reading sci-fi. So we're choosing between Binti and All Systems Red. Looks like we're gonna read All Systems Red, but it wasn't completely decided yet. So as soon as it's decided, I'm gonna put it right here. So that's it. I'm gonna read those 2 books, and now let's pick for the OWLs. The career that I picked for this year is journalist or writer, and I'm focusing on the writer part. And I have to read 3 books for that career: History of Magic, Muggle Studies, and another subject of my choice. And for this year, G also added a few seminars and trainings that you can add on top of your career. So you can use a book that is for your career for a seminar, or you can just add more things if those subjects are not included in your career. And I am going to add some of those. So first, let's actually start with one of the seminars, and that's Dragon Tamer Training. For this training, I have to read a book that has dragons. And it's a prerequisite for this training that I have to be a magizologist. And thankfully, that's what I went for last year, and I completed both my OWLs and my newts for magizologist, so I can participate in this one. For this training, I picked Knight of the Silver Circle by Duncan M. Hamilton. This is the second book in the Dragon Slayer trilogy. I read the first one last year, and they are very short fantasies just about dragons. They're just a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed the first one. So I picked the second one for this training. I don't actually have more books for the M&Ms to decide on this one. I'm just gonna read this, so it's there on my TBR anyway. And the first book that the M&Ms are gonna pick for me is for History of Magic. For that, I had to read a book that features wizards or witches. For each of the prompts, I picked 3 books, and each book's gonna correspond to 2 colors in the M&Ms. That's why we couldn't have 7 colors. For a book that features wizards and witches, we have Harry Potter, the Philosopher's Stone, the illustrated edition, and this is going to be for red or orange. The second book for this would be Sword of Destiny by the guy who writes the Witcher books. I don't know how to say his name, but this one is going to be for yellow and green. And lastly, we have Night Books by J.A. White. This is a book about a boy who has to tell stories to a witch. And this book is going to be blue and brown. Well, not brown in this case, blue and purple. So that's how it's gonna work. I'm gonna pick one of the chocolates in here, and whatever color it is, it's going to be the book that I'm gonna read for the OWLs. Now let's see what comes up. Green. This means that I'm reading the Witcher book, the second book in the Witcher series. So for History of Magic, I'm reading Sword of Destiny. The next prompt that I would have to read for my career is Muggle Studies, but we're going to skip that one just a little bit because it depends on the other prompt. So first we're going to go for the training of Legal Defense of Fantastical Beasts. So for this training, I have to read a book that has a creature with a beak on the cover. The 3 options that I have, first one is this short book that in English is called How to Be King. And it's about a boy who has to complete some challenges to become king. And you can see that there's a bird right there. So this is going to be the M&Ms red and orange. The second book that has a creature with a beak on the cover is The Forgotten Beasts of Eld by Patricia A. McKillip. And this one has like a goose or something. I'm not sure what that is, but it has a creature that has a beak on the cover. So this is going to be for yellow and green. And the third one, and bear with me there, is this one is called, freely translating, this is a Brazilian book. It's called Good Morning Veronica by Rafael Montes and Ilana Cassoy. I talked a little bit about this book in the book haul that I mentioned before. And this one doesn't have a beak, but it has a creature that for sure this creature would have a beak if it was showing here. Like, I don't know what this is, if it's that type of chicken or a type of bird, but this creature definitely has a beak. And if that's not enough, there's a bird here. So it's the other side of the cover. It's fine. So this one's gonna be blue and purple. So let's see what the M&Ms are gonna pick. Blue! This is awesome. This is the one that I wanted the most to read, so I'm very happy. So we have our Care of Magical Creatures book. I'm not sure if I mentioned, but this prompt was for the subject Care of Magical Creatures because of the seminar of Legal Defense of Magical Creatures. And now we can go back to Muggle Studies, because if this book hadn't been selected for this one, I would put it in the next one. But I have another one for the next one as well. So for Muggle Studies, we have to read a book that's in the perspective of a Muggle. And this was supposed to be a contemporary, but thrillers are also told in the perspective of Muggles, unless it's a paranormal thriller or something like that. So I picked 2 thrillers here, and one that's a nonfiction actually, so that's definitely perspective of a Muggle. And those are A Girl in the Train by Paula Hawkins. This one is going to be for red and orange. Atomic Women by Roseanne Montillo. This is the nonfiction that I mentioned, and this is going to be for yellow and green. And the third one I picked was The Hiding Place by CJ Tudor, and this one is going to be for blue and purple. So let's see what the M&Ms are gonna pick. Blue again! There's a lot of blue going on here. This means that I'm gonna be reading The Hiding Place by CJ Tudor for my Muggle Studies. And that would be it for my career. I still want to add one more seminar or training to my TBR, and that's Mer People Linguistics. If I'm going to be a journalist or a writer, it's good to know other languages and know how other creatures communicate. For Mer People Linguistics, I have to complete the subject of herbology, which is to read a book that starts with an M. And again, we're going to be creative here. You're going to understand why. The first option for the M&Ms is going to be A Woman in the Dark by Rafael Montes. In Portuguese, this does start with an M after the article there. So this is going to be for red or orange. The second book is The Hollow, which also in Portuguese, it starts with an M after the article. This is by Agatha Christie, and it's going to be for yellow and green. And the third book that we're going to put in this category, I might be bending the rules a little bit here, but it's going to be the first in the Murderbot series. The series starts with an M, so we're going with it, which is All Systems Red by Martha Wells. Her name also starts with an M, so it totally counts. And that one's going to be for blue or purple. So let's see what the M&Ms are going to pick. Pink. We're not using pink. Red! Red means I'm going to read A Woman in the Dark by Rafael Montes. I'm very excited. I'm going to read 2 of his books this month, but it's 2 very new additions to my bookshelf. And that's it for my OWLs TBR. As the month goes, if I read all of these books, plus the Reese book and the Workbook Club book, if I read all of that and I still have time, I will try to complete more prompts and I'll tell you guys how it went in the end of the month. This is more than I've been reading in the past few months, but they're all short and I picked shorter books because I want to complete this. For my Dragon Tamer training, I'm going to read Knight of the Silver Circle by Duncan M. Hamilton. For History of Magic, I'm going to read the second book in the Witcher series. For Muggle Studies, I'm going to read The Hiding Place. For Herbology, I'm going to read A Woman in the Dark. And for Care of Magical Creatures, I'm going to read Good Morning Veronica. Plus the 2 other books that I talked about. Let me know if you're participating in the Magical Readathon and what your career is going to be and what books you're reading for it. These are my favorite videos to watch lately, so if you have a video of your OWLs TBR, let me know because I'd love to watch that. And remember to like this video and subscribe to see how I did in the Magical Readathon. Last year was a very big success. This year, I'm not reading as much, so here's hoping it's gonna go well. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye!